It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
That's right. We're back, damn it. We're back for a second episode. A second episode of the O-Line Committee this week. You guys
People are like, oh my God, what happened? What's wrong? Why are they back?
You're welcome, audience.
You are so fucking welcome. It's that time of year. Oh, ding him. Ding him. Ding him. Oh, got him. Yeah. Making fun of my computer. That's what you get.
Also, kind of bullshit that you take that down for your like agent Zoom calls.
It is.
Listen, I'm not going to meet with a kid and they be like, what?
This is why you should join my professional agency.
Yes.
What's that sign in the back?
I am a professional, damn it.
I would be honest with you. If a kid saw that, I don't know what he would say. He'd probably be like, what the fuck is
Well,
that?
I forgot to, so I rolled right into a meeting yesterday after the podcast, and like the kid was loading in, and I was like, "Bruh," and I just like ripped it down, and like the helmets came down with it. I was like, oh shit.
It's crashing.
What's
We're
going
going
on?
to change the trajectory of your family's life. Crashing helmets.
Right.
So, all right, we got a batch of a couple things. We have a batch of dumb football questions. Also, we said we were going to get to a couple things yesterday that we didn't. I will take the blame for that as the driver of this car.
Because they made us come back, and that's why I was so excited.
Speaking of drivers of the car, I didn't get my F1 minute.
Oh, my gosh.
Why would
No, I'm sorry.
I didn't
Phil,
get it.
why?
Ding.
Why would you bring it up?
Bring what up? You think I forgot?
Dinged.
You think I forgot?
I wish you would have.
Listen, I don't forget.
Give them the minute. Give them the minute.
People don't forget.
We're not going to do it.
We're not going to start. We're not starting with that.
We're going to make people wait for the
You're going to make me get all
Yeah.
excited, and then you're going to bring me down to get back
For
up
sure.
excited?
Just chill out.
So we're going to start with, I'm going to give you guys a couple dumb football questions first, and then we'll get to some audience ones from yesterday. We may do a second episode per week throughout some portions of August. We're going to be this is our ramping up into the season here. Eventually we will get to probably 3 episodes per week, starting with week 1. We're kicking around some possible Monday night live streams late at night when we can break down some offensive line as it's happening. But let's start with, I saw a great headline from this Cowboys blog, The Landry Hat, yesterday. Adam Schefter gives chilling Micah Parsons update that Cowboys fans can't ignore. If you're wondering whether our headlines are clickbait,
Right.
that is great. So Adam Schefter is now talking doomsday scenario for the Cowboys. He said on his podcast that a deal is not even being discussed right now between Parsons and the Cowboys. We are further away from a deal in late July, early August than we were in late March, early April. It's not a negotiation right now. There's no conversation about getting a deal done between Micah Parsons and the Jones family. So my dumb football question to you guys is, what the hell is happening here between the Cowboys and Micah Parsons? How will this end?
Well, here's what's happened, right? Every single month, it seems, an edge rusher is getting paid more and more and more. And Dallas sat on their hands for so long that now Micah Parsons' camp is going, okay, well, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, why am I not in this echelon of players getting paid? And this is where I want to get paid. And it sounds like the Cowboys are like, no. Like, and I don't know how as a player you can take that when you've deserved that. I think Micah Parsons, I mean, yes, he was hurt for a few games, but when he's healthy, he's one of the most dominant edge rushers in the NFL. He deserves to be paid appropriately. If this is actually true, and Schefter is usually pretty good about not putting out like completely off the rails false stuff. Like if this is actually really true, this relationship's going to go south in a big way very quickly.
Well, what Jerry's doing, too, is he's also using the fact that football's here against Micah. Like, he's like, Micah, are you really not going to go out there now with this team? Like, we're here. We had all year to do this, and now we're here, and we need you. And it's like everything's thrown in his court, which is kind of fucked up because Jay's right. Every month a new pass rusher was getting paid, and at some point Jerry should have put the money on the table and been like, listen, we're going to stop the bleeding before it starts. And because you could have gotten in before it was 40. You could have gotten in before it was 41. Now all of a sudden it's like, shit, who's going to be the next one to get paid where it's like they're 42. You're going to 43. There's no way around it, Jerry. The problem is if you don't solve it now, Jay's right. You're going to sour that relationship, and you're already into a year that you've kind of backhanded your quarterback and your top pass rusher in the last week. And now this news hits. Like, it's just not good for the Cowboys, especially because they need Micah badly. They need someone on defense that can go in and wreak havoc like Micah. Like I think about all the times that Micah would line up over the center, and I was like, here it comes, right? Like you can put him anywhere on that defense, and he can be effective. Which in my eyes is like, okay, do you want 43? 42
well, I mean,
and a half?
you're also setting the bar. I mean, if he goes out there and lights the world on fire, he's going to he's going to ask for 45.
Make it
right?
50.
Like that's the part I don't
50.
understand. Like why? Yeah. I mean, and I'd have to dive deep into where their cap's at and what they want to do there. But
Mackey,
he's the type of player. He's the type of player that you find ways to make it happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Regardless, that means that veterans have to get released. If there's cap casualties at the end of guys that are in the back end of the roster and you got to replace them with guys on rookie scale deals, whatever, he is the caliber of player that you look at each other in the big front office room and go, what does it take? What does it take?
Check.
Call his agent, ask what he wants. He deserves it. And I just don't understand why we haven't gotten to that point with him yet.
Real quick, couple things. Their cap situation is less favorable than the Bengals. The Bengals cap situation is like they have 51 million under the cap next year. Cowboys are 4 or 5 million under the cap, but there's ways. Like I think that you can go back and undo this. If you're asking whether I would rather pay Dak Prescott at the very top of his market or Micah Parsons, age 26 at the top of his, like here's my thing with the Cowboys. Not every one of these things has to be a knockdown, drag them out, public brawl. You have a 26-year-old edge rusher that's one of the 3 best defensive players in the league at his position, you could say top 3. But it's a premium position. He's 26 years old. It shouldn't even be a discussion.
No.
Well,
let's reset the market and make you happy.
At top 3, you're a game changer at top 3. And that's why the money comes. Like you're like, hey, a guy like this, unchecked, could ruin this game.
What is he, Boone? He's the star.
Oh,
right? Like so at the beginning of every single week, you walk in on Wednesday morning and they pull up the depth chart. And there's 1 or 2 players that is always circled, highlighted, starred, and we go,
this guy.
He can't beat us. Right? He is a game wrecker. He is someone that can single-handedly ruin our game plan. We will not let him beat us. And you plan accordingly, right? That's the Aaron Donalds, the Myles Garretts, the Micah Parsons, right? You star those guys. If you have one of those dudes on your defense, you'll do anything to keep him because he truly can. If a team does the stupid thing, which people will do, like he puts his pants on just like the rest of us.
We're not going to slide to him.
He laces his cleats up like everybody else, right? And it's like, dude, no. And Micah Parsons is that guy. You have to spend an entire game plan day on 11. How are we going to slide to him? How are we going to find him? How are we going to identify him when they line up in this front, right? You spend an entire install session on that player. If you have that guy in your room, in your building, get him paid, shut up about it, and move on with your life. Yes. It's not that complicated.
Totally unnecessary.
And to be honest with you, two of the best things about that is, number one, he's going to attract more people to you, right? Because everyone's going to look at all the other DNs, and they're going to be like, dude, everyone's going to be so worried about this guy. This is where I eat, right? Like, I might not get the dazzling money, but I'm going to eat, and eventually I'll go eat somewhere else. Like, that's going to bring people. But 2, think about the amount of time that you're going to waste on one guy. Like, that's why you're paying him. Not only because he can do it in the game, but because of the amount of time wasted on an offense all week going, we're sure we understand this protection. We are only putting this pro in, and we're calling it 11 pro. We understand what we're doing, right? We used to do shit like that all the time.
100%.
They'd be like, we're going to call this 99 pro.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I wonder why. And then, hey, true story. One time, I'm not going to name this guy. He went away from the call. And I remember you see all the heads looking at the center, and everyone's like, what are you talking about, dude? And he was like, yeah, we're not going to, we're going to go over there. And all of a sudden, like, in the meeting room, shit got real. Did we not go to 99 on this? It was like, no, coach, we did. And it was like pause. The lights went on. I was like, oh shit, he turned the lights on. This is about to get fucking ugly. That's why you pay those guys $42 million, because the amount of time wasted that I don't sleep, and I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna fuck this up. Like, you're just so nervous about a guy like that. And the fact that Jerry won't pay him shows you how fucking stubborn he really is.
But here's the thing. Jerry's going to pay him.
Yes.
Every
He will.
single time this
He's
happens.
folded. He's folded.
At this
He's
point, I don't know.
This happens.
He's folded every single time. The only reason Jerry won't pay him is if Micah's done with the Cowboys and he comes back and goes, it's 55 or let me walk. Right. And at that point, then they'll just be like, okay, well, then now we're just outrageous. But that's what happens when you make this such a public draw. I mean, compare and contrast this to the Justin Jefferson extension, right? Hey, we're getting the deal done. We're working on it. Things are going great. I'm here at practice. They're being fair. Our camp's being fair. We want to make sure it's here. Boom, the deal gets done. Don't lose any practice time. He's a superstar. Compare and contrast this to where he's like, my camp can't even get a hold of them. They won't want to do a deal. Right. Why am I doing this for this
ripping
team?
Parsons publicly
He's
for being
publicly.
out 5 games.
He's
last
ripping.
year.
He's
Oh,
ripping
this guy
me,
doesn't play 8
he's
games.
ripping me
4.
for trying to kill myself out here. He just ripped the guy he paid $60 million to. Why am I doing this? There's 31 other teams that would literally cut an arm off to have me.
Yeah. The other thing
And
too is when,
that's
like, you brought up the
gonna happen
Jefferson, the Vikings with Jefferson, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, the general manager, multiple occasions publicly said he deserves to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. So like he was like negotiating against himself publicly out of respect to, we know we're going to get this done. We love this dude. He's awesome. Why? We know what's going to happen. So why create unnecessary friction within the locker room?
Look at the culture of the Vikings. They're always right. They're a tough team because they have a great culture and they're united. When you talk to them, everybody loves the head coach. They all fucking talk about each other. You don't really see that a lot in Dallas anymore, right? Everyone's kind of fighting with Jerry. Jerry's got a couple words to say about his starting quarterback. This guy paid a whole bunch of money. You got hurt.
The head coach. The head coach sits in the cuck chair in the corner and says nothing.
He literally just sits there like, can I take the tape off my mouth now? Can I please get the fuck? He's probably looking at his agent like, is this what you meant? Because holy fucking shit. And they're like, dude, the season hasn't even started yet. Wait till one of them doesn't play well. Oh, now all of a sudden it's going to be kaboomy. But that's what the difference in culture everywhere, right? And you're right. Think about it. Didn't he even fight with Zach Martin when it came down to him? Didn't Zach have to hold out
a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame offensive guard? Let's hold him out. Right? Like there's just certain things.
Top of the market.
I don't know if that's just him not adapting with the times, right? Because I do think, 10 years ago, Boone, this is how it was done. You drew a hard line. You drew a hard line in the sand. You didn't cross it, and you went to war. It's not like that anymore because of how public everything is. Right? It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram. It's on ESPN's First Take. It's everywhere. Versus in the old days, like if you were an agent and you wanted to get it out there, you had to call all your affiliates and be like, hey, this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. But anymore, it's just so public knowledge. It just gets spun out of control so quickly. And I just feel like Jerry's just like, I don't care. I'm going to do things like it did, like it was 1994.
Almost like he likes it. It's almost like
loves
he
it.
loves
He loves it.
He's the one that's like, you know what? Stefan, watch this. I'm gonna go say something real stupid. Now watch me. Like it's like he loves. And you're right. 10 years ago, it'd have been like, how the fuck did they find this out? Call his agent right now. Now instead, it's like shit. Jerry's got like 30 microphones in front of him. He's like over here, like, well, hell, he's not doing 99 on the highway. I think that's a plus. I'd say that's pretty good.
You know what he is? He's like the old guy that I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, I took my dad to his first movie in probably 15 years in a theater. He just like hadn't gone to a movie theater. And we walk up to the ticket office and I pull out my credit card. My dad's like, it costs $12 to go to this movie? And I'm like, yeah, that's like the going rate to go to a movie. And Jerry Jones is the old guy who like doesn't know how expensive a quarterback is, and it's $40 million. Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Try to keep up, bro. And the
Where you been?
The way that he speaks to reporters and fans so condescendingly, he like pats you on the head and says, I think we know a thing or two about winning around. It's like, bro, you haven't been to an NFC championship game since 1996.
Phil,
1996, dude.
Your Jerry Jones is the best. I think we know a thing or two about winning around here.
I think, dude, you need to.
Can you touch this? Right, it's like the dad from Friday Night Lights. Tim McGraw, what was he? Like, can't hold on to the football out there embarrassing me.
Drinking milk straight out the carton. I love it.
Kicking the window out in the car. 40 million. Dad, you're crazy.
Next dumb football question. and I don't know where this is going to go.
Jay, I can't take you serious.
Dude, that's all I think about when he does that impression is just that dad.
Get out the window.
Jerry walks up like, "Can you touch this?" And they're like, "Does that say 1962 on it?"
Yeah.
State high school football, baby.
That's right.
Oh my God.
So, okay. Christian Wilkins.
I'm sorry. It's a bad time to do this. This is a bad time to do this.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know where this is going to go. But
This is
Christian
going to go to a
Wilkins,
bad place.
He signed don't get us canceled, a 4-year, $110 million contract a year ago.
He did it.
Still has like 30 plus million in guaranteed
35.
money on it. The Raiders, didn't like how he rehabbed his foot injury, and so they said goodbye for that reason. But also, they cut him because, according to reports, an HR complaint was filed saying that Christian Wilkins kissed a teammate on either the forehead or like the side of the head or something. There's been some conflicting reports. He kissed a teammate, and it rubbed no pun intended, rubbed the teammate the wrong way.
I heard about this.
What
Listen.
the hell happened with Christian Wilkins is the next dumb football question.
I heard that whoever he kissed called his agent, and his agent called a bunch of lawyers, and they were like, "We're about to sue this shit. Like, we feel very uncomfortable." I'm gonna tell you right now from personal experience of 10 years that in order for HR to get a complaint about you, you got to be really fucking stupid.
By the way, I'm pretty sure a few months ago we debated on this show. I think Boone took a hardline stance that there's no HR departments in the NFL. We know that there
H&R.
Apparently H&R exists.
Dude, you got to really fuck up to have them call down and be like, "Okay, the lawyers are involved now. You kissed a teammate." Like, dude. Okay,
this is gonna go into an interesting.
It's not because listen, they have a hard stance, right? Like after the Richie shit happened, and I'm not even kidding you. After the Richie shit happened, the NFL has to take a hard stance on this stuff. You cannot allow this shit to fucking happen again, right? The Richie shit got out of hand. It did in Miami. It wasn't even bad. But the problem is, if you dig deeper and you see what's really going on, people are going to be like, "Okay, that's enough all around." And we're going to be like, "Well, now the fun's all gone," right? Like they're not stupid, and they know that the minute one guy kisses another guy, they're like, "Hey, man."
But there's a fine line, and again, please take this with a grain of salt.
Don't say it, Jay.
There's a fine line of goofing around and going a step too far. And Booney, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
We were there.
There was people in the locker room that they loved to goof around, right? And you knew they liked to goof around, but it was never in a malicious fashion.
Correct.
Right? I can remember a certain player in San Diego that happened to have an ankle break, and one of his favorite things to do was to ride around on his little scooter ass naked and like slide into the shower, right? Like that shit was funny, right? You can remember certain guys in Minnesota, there are certain guys that just refuse to wear a towel, and then they just come sit down next to you and have a conversation. You'd be like, "Come on, man. Like, what? What's wrong?" And he'd stand up. You're like, "Yeah." Right? Like, but that was funny. Like, and there was moments to it. But then there was the certain guys that you knew didn't play that shit. And you stayed away from them,
Very far
because you knew that there was guys that could take it and guys that would joke around and it'd be fun with. And then there were certain dudes that were like, "You come near me, I'm going to kill you."
They meant
and there was that hard, and there was that hard line.
The hard line.
There was that hard line. And so what I'm sure that's happened is everything that's come out about Christian Wilkins in the last, 10 years, right? You got John Feliciano, friend of the show, come out on Instagram and be like, "Guy's always been a little different, right? Little goofy," or whatever he called him. But I think that the player that this happened to is one of those players that has a hard line, and Christian crossed it, right? And he crossed it. And those dudes, they do not mess.
You
around.
know who? Hey, to be fair, you do know who they are.
You know who they are.
They make themselves known.
They make themselves very clear. Like, "Don't fuck with me like that. Like, I don't play that." And you're like, "Okay, cool." Right? Like, there's certain dudes I can mess with and play with, and it's whatever. Right? But there's those dudes, and I think whoever this was, I'm not entirely sure it was, had that hard line, crossed that hard line, and once you cross that line with those players, there's no going back.
And the team has to respect that.
The team has to respect that. Like, it can't be like, "Oh, come on, he was goofing around," because then you're opening up to a whole nother can of worms.
Do you think? I know, and you guys aren't in that locker room, so it's maybe hard to answer this. But like, is it hard line with anyone who wants to, let's just say, kind of invade your personal space in a fun way?
No.
Or is it, hey, Christian Wilkins gives people there's a weird way that he goes about his business in the locker room, and him specifically dude, just
It could be that, but
it
a
could
lot
be
of it,
that, but
a
I
lot
think
of it is somebody has a lot of it is somebody's like super Catholic, right? Or they're super Christian, and they're like, "Hey, I'm not down with this shit," and you're like, quickly like, "Okay, we're just kidding," and then everyone's like, "Don't fuck with this guy,"
no
right?
naked
Because you don't know.
for you.
No,
Okay.
You
yeah,
just
no,
don't
no,
know.
no, like
Hey, after
guys
the
used to,
J-Mart
like,
thing, everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Don't fuck with these
but I
guys,"
mean,
right?
it's so hard for me to. Like,
I've
'cause
only
again,
known one guy, Jay.
We're
How
not
many guys
in the
have
locker
you
room.
known?
Two or
They were
three.
hardline.
There was 2 or 3 hardline guys that I met, right? But the problem was there was probably 40 goof around guys that I knew that like it was funny. Like it was a funny thing in the locker room. It wasn't homophobic and it wasn't gay. It was just funny. Like, and they were funny guys. But the problem was if you disrespect that one person that makes their stance very clear, everyone in the locker room knows like, oh, you shouldn't have done that.
You know what
Right?
it is?
Like you shouldn't have done that.
It's when you hold the eye contact.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
Dude,
Christian,
I mean, the
you can't hold
stories,
the eye contact, buddy.
There was a few times
Phil,
here.
the
There was a few
stories that I could tell you
There was a
would
few
get
times
us
here.
would get us canceled on this show
Hey.
so fast, and I'd get phone calls from people so quickly.
Dude,
But the
They'd
thing
stand
was-
like right here, and you'd be like, if I distinctly remember being like, just don't look. And people were like, "Boone, don't do it. You just," it was.
you'd be standing there, all of a sudden you'd turn around, someone have their leg up on the chair, they'd be like, "What's up, man?" You'd be like, "God, put a towel on." Like, dude, I mean, but it was. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things you had to be there to think that it's not. We're not painting it justice in this, but I do agree with the fact that if you cross a line, and
Oh,
it's
you're gonna
been-
get
it's
punished.
been made a stance, and you cross that line, you're gonna get punished for it.
There's some self-awareness involved here. You need
Yes.
to know, like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like,
Because it's not like a corporate 9 to 5, dude. Like the
Oh, it's
HR,
not?
the HR there and the HR here, very different standards. Very different standards, right?
saying.
When you
and,
had-
so
when
for
you
you to get an actual HR complaint on you in the NFL, God help you, because it's gonna be bad.
So it's
I
funny,
think
like
about all the
most
time-
most normal companies, non-NFL companies, you get hired, and then like on your orientation day, they
Yeah.
make you watch an outdated like sexual harassment
Yeah.
video.
100%,
If
yeah.
Bob sees Lucy in the cafeteria, Bob can say this, can't say that. Assuming they don't sit you guys down for the
No, dude. Hey, I told you our HR would come in, and it would be all the departments would come in, right? And it's so funny you say Bob, because Bob Lang used to be the director of our media, right? And so Bob Media had all the girls, and so Bob would come in with all the girls, and he'd be like, "My name's Bob Lang. For those that don't know, and these people behind me are fucking with me. And if you fucking talk to any one of them, I'll fucking kill you." And I was like, Bob doesn't fuck around here. Like that was literally the HR. It was literally like, do you see this? If you're disrespectful to any one of these women, you'll fucking die. And it was like, understood.
Okay, Bob.
Understood. Like that was every meeting though. That's what I'm saying. For HR, they were probably sitting in their office like, wait a minute, what? We're actually needed.
Yeah. They're just
actually-
they're playing solitaire, and all of a sudden, ding, email. They're like, what?
What?
Who did
Dude,
what?
think
Why am
about
I
all-
getting emailed about this, Bob?
Think about all the asses that you smacked at work, like
Dude, I
coaches,
mean, it's
trainers, everybody.
It's just
We would come up from behind and just wail on people,
Dude,
and
like,
not
that's the thing.
one
There's
complaint.
literally-
Not one. Not one.
My last year covering the Vikings as a beat writer was the Brett Favre run in like 2000.
Yeah.
Well, it was like 2009-10.
Oh, I can't
And
imagine.
NFL.com and like Vikings.com and YouTube. There's literally a highlight video of him slapping teammates' asses and running away.
all
And
we
so
did.
like
It's all we
that's
ever
what's, like, it's
did.
so interesting the lines
a player
that, like,
a player that will remain nameless. One of his favorite things to do was to go into the weight room super early in the morning and back squat naked. And and he'd always
to
be
God.
like, balls to the ground, men, balls to the ground. And like you'd walk in there and be like, God, put some shorts on. Right. But like that stuff just happened. And it was funny. It was in the moment. But I will go back to this. Like there was one player in Minnesota that you knew he didn't play that. Right. And you
We're
knew.
thinking of the
And-
same person. That was the
and
one
one
person I knew.
time,
We're thinking of the same
someone
story.
crossed that line a little bit. He might have flirted with the line, almost crossed it. And this player was like, I'm going upstairs. I'm going to Spielman. And like, it took all of us to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, it was a joke. Calm down. And he's like, and that was the final warning. But everyone after that respected it. Right. And that's the thing. And knowing Christian and his background, my guess is that this was not the first time this happened with said player. right? I'm going to guess because
that's a good point.
I'm going to guess that this was not the first time this happened with said player. I'm going to guess something happened last year, OTAs, whenever it was, and that player was like, listen, Christian, I don't play that shit. I don't want to do that anymore. You do that again, we're going to have issues, right? And be like, okay, cool. And then he tries to kiss him, and then it spirals off the rails. I almost guarantee you this was not the first incident that happened with this player and with Christian.
Yes, because of that incident that you and I are both thinking about, and we talked that said player out of saying anything.
Yeah, out of
but had it been
everyone.
the second time, we would not have been able to. There's no way we would. And no, I'm telling you right now, Jay's right. This is probably the second or third time that this has happened with this guy. Because if it were the first and somebody went to HR, we'd all be like, dude, don't be a bitch, right? Like, you got to tell.
And I also don't think the team would have cut him if it was the first time.
No, that's the thing.
The team would have been like, hey, we didn't know.
Suspended for violating team
policy
rules, or whatever
conduct detrimental.
Right?
Like,
look at us, dude. Little Sherlock Holmes over here.
To straight up release a guy, this has been a multi-incident report. And then the cherry on top is with the contract dispute and the guaranteed money, right? So there was a lot of factors here, but super, super interesting to see if there is anything that comes out of this from a civil lawsuit side, from him suing the team, right? There's a lot of litigation that's going to be happening here between the NFL, from anything else. I mean, the saga of Christian Wilkins is not done.
And the good news for Christian Wilkins is at least the NFL Players Association's in a great spot right now to fight this battle.
Yeah, 100%.
Their president really knows what's going on.
Yeah, everyone's really good and over there and really all hands on deck for a situation like this.
Oh, boy.
So, okay. Let's get to some more dumb football questions here from the audience. You can always drop them in the YouTube comment section. Click that like button, the subscribe button, if you enjoy slapping asses and football discussion.
We do.
Let's go to Shams 5743 here, or Shomes. He says, so training camp question. Does an open camp practice to, like, when fans and media are there, differ from a practice that's closed to fans? Do teams send scouts to their opponents' open camp practice? I think that's technically not allowed, but
no.
I mean,
no.
What do teams work on during open camp practices, knowing fans will be posting videos versus ones that aren't open?
That's a great question, and we kind of hit on this a little bit, I think, yesterday. But for the most part, anytime you have an open practice, it's not really, we're not getting into the meat and potatoes of what we're doing. It's a pretty simple day, right? Like, it's a power, it's a counter, it's a zone, right? We're not going to show you a bunch of gimmicks. We're not going to show you different cadences. We're not going to go crazy. It's going to be a really chill type of day. But really, the worst part about it, and maybe Jay feels differently, but I hated doing one-on-ones in front of people. Like, they were like, because they were like yelling shit at you, like, you fucking pussy, and you're like, God damn it, I just got throat fucked by Ev, and now this guy's fucking ear fucking me over here, and then here comes Tony. What the fuck are we doing? I'm like, Jesus, Tony, you're the third person in the last 30 seconds to give it to me. Like, it was terrible, but it was kind of fun at team, like when they would get excitable and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think it for us, it calms the coaches down, right? Like, they can't really go too fucking crazy. They can't be like, you stupid motherfucker.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
At times, Tony would like grab me and be like, just wait till film. Wait till film. I'd be like, I'm hoping to God he forgets by the time we get to film. But they were more calm, and we would never really go wild with our offense and be like, do you see this spectacular play that we plan on beating the Seahawks with that nobody knows about? We're going to run it in front of everybody. Like, it just wasn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, most of the beginning part of training camp, too, you're not game planning, right? Even for the first preseason game. I mean, I was talking to my rookies. They're like, hey, are we gonna do any game planning for our first preseason game? I was like, nope. You're going to roll the ball out there and say, go play, boys, right? So they're not worried about how are we game planning, how are we playing different defenses. It's truly just us versus them, right? It's just defense versus offense. And we're game planning against ourselves. There's no secrets to it. And that's why when all of a sudden open practices end, and you go to close, now the game planning starts. Now the specialty plays start. Right? I will say it's really weird as a rookie going from a open practice and then all of a sudden you go to a closed practice and you're like, it's so quiet. Right? Like, there's nobody here. Like, there's no energy. Right. And that's one thing that you have to learn how to bring your own energy when all of a sudden the fans are gone. Right. When the fans are there, it's easy to get juiced up and energy. And then all of a sudden the fans are gone. And you're kind of like, oh, and there's still 2 weeks of training camp left. Like, I still have to be on it and go and work through it. But I agree with Boone. It does add a little bit of pressure when there are those one-on-one situations and you go sit right in front of the fans and you're sitting there like, dude, someone's probably filming this. They're going to put me on the internet if I look like a moron.
About to get
right?
blasted.
And then all of a sudden it's going to go viral because of this, that, and the other thing. Like that stuff does trickle in your head versus just a regular practice. We're like, oh, well, we'll watch in the meeting room and go from there. Like the extra set of eyes does add a little bit of pressure to the moments like that when you're competing for a job.
That's a great point too about the no fans, because it is very quiet. It literally you run out there and you're like, where is everybody? And they're like, oh no, it's over. It's no more of that, dude. We get real now. And you're like, I thought we were real. And they're like, no, that was all a joke. We're for real now. You're like, oh shit.
It's definitely true about the coaches. Some coaches don't care. Like my coach, Joe DeLisandris, he did not care if God himself was watching. He was going to let you have it in front of everyone. Right. But then you had a few coaches that would do the same thing. They'd huddle you up at the end of practice and be like, boys, I'm not happy. You'd be like, oh, damn it. And be like, isn't your grandson here or something to cheer you up?
It's family
right? Like,
day,
you just be like, come on, it's family day, man. My kid's over there. Right? But like, you just definitely, there's a few coaches that would just wait. And then they'd go in, they'd eat lunch, and then they'd build more steam. And then they'd go into the meeting room and hear it from the offensive coordinator, and they'd build more steam. And that was when you're sitting in the meeting room and it's quiet because you know you're about to get ripped. Everyone knows you're about to get ripped. It's quiet. No one's saying a word. You're just sitting there, and then you hear him come in, and then you hear the door click, and you're like, oh, boy. And then he quietly walks up to the front, and then it's just like, damn it, boom, and it's just an explosion for the last 3 hours of him having to contain all of this rage. It's like, dude, can't you just yell us out on the field to get it over with?
Dude, I'll be honest. The rage ones were easier. The hardest ones was like when he would open his like glasses case real slowly and pull them out, and he'd be like, I don't think yous understand what I just went through.
Upstairs.
But we're going to go through it together so we can see how I got fucked, how you're going to get fucked.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. You'd be like,
Hank, get the lights.
oh, God, this is going to hurt so bad. Use. You know who I'm talking to. Use. You'd be like, that's me. That's for sure he's talking to me. I could tell
coach.
by the voice.
Yep,
yeah.
coach. Yep, that's me. 100%. Yep, I screwed up. I won't do it again.
Thanks to all the fans that saved us from getting our ass chewed out in the moment. Just
but
saved
it didn't.
for a quiet
But you didn't
room.
save us forever.
No, the quiet room got us, but it's okay. I was excited.
Is it also is it like baseball at all, where like a spring training baseball game, if you're just watching casually, you say, well, that pitcher just got rocked. What happened there? But that pitcher might have come out for that random day in early March and said, I'm working on my curveball today.
Yes.
So I'm throwing this pitch.
I'm glad you brought
it says
this up.
off defensive lineman. I'm going to work on my spin move today or whatever. Like, how does that work?
And I don't know if you do this. I don't know if anyone at Purple Daily does this, so please take no offense. If you chart training camp, I hate you. Like I hate you.
Kevin O'Connell.
You do.
Judd charts
I knew
the
it.
passes.
I
we just
hate you.
Hold on. Kevin O'Connell has confronted Judd in a friendly way 3 times, and Judd has said, I hear your arguments. I still would like to know that J.J. McCarthy is 41 of 51 in the full team drills.
Dude, I can't stand that shit.
Because
it's exactly
Jeremiah is going to be on
it's
Purple Daily
exactly
next week.
I'm going to fight Judd for this.
We feel the same way.
Because you have no idea what the emphasis in that period is. Right? Like as a quarterback, I can't tell you how many times we've been in meetings, they've been like, hey, today we're throwing into the blitz. Right? We're throwing into the blitz no matter what, because that's why we're going to do it. Regardless if it's like, hey, that post route was wide open over there, but my coach said I'm throwing into the blitz. And so I'm trying to fit it into a tight window because that's what we want. Or, hey, today in the red zone, the tight end post is what we're focusing on. Get to the tight end, right? And, you threw a pick. It's like, okay, that's all right. I wanted you to see that, right? There's so much that goes into these charting of the quarterbacks. Where it's like, Shadur Sanders went 11 for 11 today, 2 touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel only 9 for 7 or whatever the fuck it is. I can't stand it. I think it's so dumb. Or even when it's like, defense stuffed him today on the goal line, or it's like you have no idea what's going on.
Or the defense just had better motivation going into the drill.
It's just like fuck? It's okay, man, but I can't. Yeah, the charting of the training camp and then seeing it posted all over the place drives me absolutely nuts.
I'm going to chart even more things today.
Way to go!
Please,
it's going to be great.
Please chart. Please chart more things.
Searles is getting pissed.
I can't stand it, dude. It drives me nuts. I really can't handle it.
But we need more. This is great because this is the. I always had a suspicion that. Okay, like yesterday, for example, there was a drill, or 2 days ago, full team practice, Vikings practice, and I think it was the third team because it was the third string quarterback, and there was some sort of broken. It was 11-on-11 full team drill, and there was a tight end lined up wide to the left, and Kevin O'Connell is in the background, like waving at the defense. Like there's literally an uncovered guy over here. So the defense had a busted coverage, but the quarterback took the snap, never even looked left, and threw a pass up the seam for, I think it was incomplete. And my first reaction was, all right, the quarterback's got to see that there's an open guy, but he's being told it doesn't matter what's happening over here. We're working on this thing for this particular
Sometimes,
snap,
especially
right?
for young QBs.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like,
what
hey,
I'm trying to say.
like young QBs, it's like, hey, you need to get your pre-snap read and then know where you're going with the ball first, and then work your way through the progression. And as a young quarterback, you're like, okay, pre-snap cover 4, this route concept with Dino. I'm going to hit the corner over here. I'm going to wait for the shallow cross, second window here. Right, that's the kind of stuff that you're trying to train into young quarterbacks. The other piece I can't stand in, it's like so-and-so ripped off a long run. It's like he probably was actually sacked, right? Like as a quarterback, it's like quarterback, he just ripped off 50 yards up the middle. It's like he probably was decapitated 6 yards in the backfield. So
That's the one thing we
you
get away
can't
with.
touch him.
They don't tell you a lot of sacks. No, we get away with that.
But I don't. Did you guys kind of on this topic? Did you guys see the interview with DJ Moore about?
No.
He was talking about, someone was asking him like about Ben Johnson's new playbook and the standard and the cultures. Like just got a little bit on top of what we were talking about yesterday. And DJ's like, whew. He's like, it's tough. And he's like, in the culture, they shifted it quickly. He's like, if you screw up, you're going to be out. You screw up twice, you're a repeat offender, right? You probably won't run that route the rest of camp. And it just goes back to what I was talking about. Like, that's a professional. Like, that's a professional coach. That's how things are handled. And you are a professional in the NFL. Therefore, do it the right way or get the hell off the field. I don't know what to tell you, right? But I felt like that was a really cool thing from DJ Moore to just be like, he takes like a big breath. He's like, it's a lot. Right. But it just shows you like that's the way things are going to be operating in Chicago now. And I can appreciate it.
I'm excited. Make the North even tougher. Fuck yeah.
Let's go, dude. Let's do one more dumb football question here from John Gargaro. And he asked a few questions about the referees that show up to training camp practice. And he says there's referees at training camp. Do players have better relationships with referees in season who are there during camp or those who aren't? Or I've always been interested in the dynamic between the refs and the players, both at camp and in games.
I'll be honest with you. We don't really know the refs at camp. They kind of just come in from local colleges and they work. And we see them at lunch. We talk to them. At times they'll come up to us and be like, hey, I noticed you were way far back in your stance. Just letting you know. And you'll be like, oh, I appreciate it. In season, those are the guys you fucking talk to. Like they pull those guys up. They pull their charts up, all what they're known for. They pull up the whole crew. You're like, hey, you see this, Tony Carente, this motherfucker. He's not calling this defensive holding. I'm gonna fucking get him to call. I'm gonna get him to fucking call it. And look, who's that? Who's that with him? Lou? Tell Lou he better get out of my fucking way. Like, dude, it's hilarious some of the shit that you learn about these guys. But I will say this: some of those old school refs were some of the coolest motherfuckers in the world. Like Jeff Triplett. He was fucking hilarious. Man, shut up. You'd be like, this fucking
Jeff
guy just told me to
Triplett.
shut
Let's
up.
go.
Like, dude, you'd have so much fun. The dudes in camp, at times, I feel like they're a little finicky. They have to be. And it's really just based on, is the head coach kind of on them? Come on, ref, throw the flag. You know that was a flag. You're like, shut up.
Those guys, the camp refs that come from local colleges are always very nervous, walking on eggshells.
The flags are like
Am
this
I
big.
supposed
You're
to
like,
throw
they
a
take
flag or
get
not?
that.
They take so much abuse too. They take so much abuse. And you can always tell like what head coach leans offense or defense if they'll enforce said penalty or not. Right? Like if it's a defensive head coach and they're like it's a 2-minute drill and they're like DPI, right? And then he's like, that was a DPI, incomplete, third down.
Incomplete, redo it.
And then like if it's an offensive coach and it's like they get a DPI, they're like, move it up, here we go. So step up. Like,
Stop the clock,
Yeah.
save the timeout,
the
save.
worst was the guy in one-on-ones. I can't remember who it was. We had this ref in one-on-ones that he would throw for like holdings and stuff during one-on-ones. And I was like, will you stop it?
That was
like
not when I
there's
was here.
enough of us trying to just survive out here. The last thing I need you to do is after I like try and win a one-on-one rep, you walk up there because the flag's at my feet and you're like holding 78. And you're like, get out of my face, dude. Like it's not that serious.
You're not even real. Go home.
You're not even real.
They should mic those dudes up for the audience out there.
Hey.
Just like this.
Dude.
I
They
love
would hear
that.
some
Holding
serious abuse.
78
Oh.
offense.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Call that on me?
But I agree. Like, yeah, you make friends with the refs in game. 100%.
Sure.
You make friends, especially like quarterbacks and those type of guys. Like they try and make nice with those dudes as much as humanly possible.
Are you ready for the
Yes.
return of the F1 minute?
Yes.
The F1 minute with our guy, Jeremiah Sirles, noted F1 open wheel racing fan. And then a new twist: when you're done with the F1 minute, we're going to have you translate it for us who don't follow. So here we go. 1 minute on the clock. Go.
We were at Spa this weekend, one of the greatest tracks in F1 history, and you asked me in my opinion. You had the sprint race on top of the Grand Prix this week. So in the sprint race, Max Verstappen took first place. It's been a long time since he's been on the podium. He outlasted Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, right, to take the first place in the sprint qualifying and then to win the sprint. The problem is they had to switch his rear wing, get him to have a more downforce because it was supposed to rain, right? So he changes his whole setup. He only qualifies fourth. Obviously, Lando Norris takes pole. Oscar and Lando end up battling back and forth, but the freaking FIA decided that they wanted to wait, so it took all the wet advantage out. Not super fun. Oscar Piastri passes Lando Norris on the first lap, ends up winning the whole thing, going through it. Lando made a hard charge at the end because he had the hard compound tire. But the big news is Max Verstappen is locked in with Red Bull through 2026. There's no him going to Mercedes, maybe 2027, but now Mercedes has to make a decision on what they want to do with George Russell and Kimi Antonelli.
Wow, there it is. The F1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, with Jeremiah Sirles. Can you translate that for Alex in NFL terms?
Don't even worry about it. It's all good. You are so good.
Doesn't Verstappen win like every other week?
He is. This is the first time in the first time in 4 years that he hasn't made a podium on a Grand Prix in 4 straight races.
In the what?
Right, in the Grand Prix. Grand Prix, the race, the Grand Prix.
The game.
Grand Prix.
It's so grand.
The game.
It's so grand, yeah.
Trying to think how to, like, this one was tough. So phone call.
It's always
rude.
ringing.
How rude. I don't have a great comparison for this one. This was a tough one. I don't have a great comparison for the NFL in the way
with a stupid rookie.
Yeah, I don't have. The only way I can think about it is the way the FIA went about changing the wet race to the dry race and waiting until it's dry would be like the refs helping the Kansas City Chiefs. Right, the FIA is now trying to help McLaren. They're trying to help McLaren, and they have a vendetta against Verstappen. And so it's like the refs trying to help out the Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, that's good. That's a good job.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, F1 minute there. All right, there's your O-line committee. Click that like button, the subscribe button, and don't be handsy in the locker rooms, kids. Okay, don't kiss your coworkers without their permission. For Jay, I'm Phil.